here on vacation, but he was always the thinker. He was always, you never really knew quite, whereas we were raised very racist in Rhodesia, as were a lot of the early and older people of your generation and mine in this country. We were just raised that way. You had fountains for the whites and fountains for the blacks, and you had buses for the blacks. So Dan and I had, especially me, had a lot of overcoming to do in this country. Mm-hmm. Leon was little when he came here, so he never had that to overcome. He was always the spokesperson for the oppressed and so on, and he had a very big heart, and in that regard, he was a big example to both of us about how a man really should be. I've gotten there, but it hasn't been a cakewalk. It's been difficult because a lot of things that are cemented in your youth, you have a hard time letting go of in your adulthood, but with God's love and through prayer and looking at things and reading my Bible daily, which I do, I've gotten where Leon was many years before I was, so that's what I remember of him.
Leon and I were pretty close in high school, probably doing a lot of things we shouldn't have been doing, but we were only 4 years apart, so we saw pretty, we were peers, so to speak, and we did a lot of crazy partying and things that I won't go into detail about. But anyway, I remember when we lived, is it Fremont? Remember when I had some girlfriends over in the garage, and he just loved to push my buttons when I had my girlfriends over, and that embarrassed me. And he locked us in the garage, and we had that side door that had a window in it. And he stuck his finger, like that, right in my face. And I said, open this door. Oh, boy, I saw red. And I put my fist through the glass because I couldn't get out. We were getting claustrophobic. And he was just on the other side doing that, And I put my fist through the window, and he turned to run to go tell Mom, I'm going to go. And he couldn't move. He froze because his cowboy boot had filled with a sharp flying glass. Hit him. He had just missed the artery and filled his cowboy boot with blood and spilled over. And I thought, I'm in deep doo now. So I had to look at my little cuts and, Mom, I'm hurt, because I knew I was going to get my rear end kicked like that. And so I remember that really stood out. But and I think he had problems with that leg for a while. So I felt really bad about that. But, just more recently, when I was next door at the neighbors talking about our concrete fences, and Buster came over and said, I thought he was going to join in the conversation, and he said, your brother's in the hospital. We just got a call from Janice, and he's not expected to make it through the night. And I couldn't believe it. I was shocked, and I said, what? Who, Leon? And I didn't know what to do. We had trailers hooked up to our vehicles full because we were moving, and it was such chaos. So I called Sunny, and she was at her girlfriend's, and naturally she dropped everything and came home to get us and take us to the hospital. And Leon was at that point unconscious, but I know that he knew we were there. I have no doubt. Buster told me when we first came in, I guess Janice had been there. The nurse said she'd said her goodbye. She wasn't coming back. So it just hit with such force because it was happening so fast.